Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is PsychoGold, this is PsychoGold Videos, and today we're checking out a new film in the superhero genre. I was gonna say a new superhero, and then I was doubting, is he really a superhero? But yeah, he is, in inverted commas. If the Punisher's a superhero, then Bloodshot's a superhero, damn it. Anyway, there are many names in the comic book industry. Obviously the two biggest is without doubt Marvel and DC. You may have also heard of people such as Dark Horse Comics, 2000 AD, Vertigo, Image Comics, and Boom Studios. However, a name that was pretty big in the 90s, kind of went away, and then is kind of making rounds again, is Valiant Comics. Valiant had their own line of superheroes, they have their own superhero team, they have many different characters, some of which are good, some of which but back in the 90s, they were really popular. I think, without a doubt, in my opinion, the most popular was Exo Manowar. I remember that dude being frickin' everywhere. There were so many people who said him when people were like, oh, who's your favorite superhero? And people would say like, oh, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. And then there'd be the really edgy, like, teenagers that'd be like, no, those are for kids. You want Exo Manowar. Because that's pretty much what Valiant was going for, at least back then, is they were definitely trying to be like, you know, Marvel and DC, those are for kids. You're an adult. You want to come over here. We got the blood. We got the gore. We got the skin. If you know what I mean, and you know what I mean. But obviously, in reality, looking back, it's not really that impressive. And I didn't really read them back then. However, I did unknowingly like one of the characters, and that character was Rye. Now, Rye is actually a version of this character, Bloodshot, and when Valiant Comics came back, I got really into the Bloodshot books, to the point that I actually started picking some of them up and getting them signed, etc. But I never actually expected this to become a feature film. I honestly thought that the Valiant books would just stay as books, but Bat in the Sun, who is a group that you probably know if you've seen some of my previous reactions to their work, decided that they were going to make a series of a number of their characters. They created Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, a show which I would have loved to have done a reaction to back when it came out, but it came out and had a lot of issues and didn't actually exist on YouTube for a very long time. It does now, FYI. There are multiple different people who've uploaded it. In that show, Jason David Frank from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers played Bloodshot, and actually he did a pretty decent job, in my opinion. I actually was impressed by how well he brought Bloodshot to life. I know that there was a lot of stuff that he wanted to do, and that he actually talked about a lot in terms of what was going to be in the show for his character. Didn't actually make it into the final cut. A lot of things got changed, and a lot of issues started happening with the rights because of this film that we are about to check out the trailer for, because Sony suddenly woke up and remembered that they had the rights to make films for certain Valiant characters, one of which is Bloodshot. And they decided that they were going to have Vin Diesel play the role, and immediately that means that the character is not going to look like he does in the comics. I'm going to go out on a limb here, because the character is not bold, for starters, but I don't really care. If they can nail the way that the character is portrayed in the books, if they can nail the storyline, which is what I'm more interested in, then I think this will be a good interpretation of the character. Personally, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this. I can guarantee you I can already predict that the comment section thinks that they've seen this film before, or that if it's true to the book, it's going to be way too gory for some people, but at the same time, there is actually a pretty interesting story behind Bloodshot. It's just, I don't know how much the trailer's going to give away, and I don't know how much is going to be in the actual film. I really hope that they don't just look at this and think it's Punisher, but with Wolverine's healing factor, because that is a version of this they could do, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I've spoken enough. I'm sorry that this intro was so long, but I just want you to know I really do like the character of Bloodshot. But anyway, let's actually watch the trailer, and then I'll talk about it more after. I got a funny feeling this is going to be a long video, guys, so apologies in advance. Now, I've already seen, because the video keeps trying to autoplay, that this is one of those ones that starts straight in. I don't know if that's because of the way that the YouTube does its adverts now, where it wants you to have that 5 seconds from within the trailer, like the trailer is now spoiling itself, or if this is actually how the trailer starts, so yeah. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh! What? Oh, okay, so it's one of those, yeah. Oh, So they are gonna follow the storyline.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but you got yourself killed.
Uh,
At RST, we rebuild a
but you're better now.
the U.S. military. Soldiers like yourself. You're the first who we've successfully managed to bring back, but improved, enhanced.
Nope.
With the technology in your veins,
Ooh.
you have an army inside you that will not only make you stronger, it will heal you instantly.
Oh, okay. I like the effects of how they're doing his nano regen.
Do you remember anything?
No. Mm-mm. Okay.
I've got unfinished business. I'm gonna find the man who murdered my wife and kill him.
I'm sorry, I'm so quiet. It's because I want to say something, but it's kind of a spoiler. But I don't know if the trailer's going to show it or not. But I like the red glow he's got on his chest there. That's clever.
All right, shut him down. And initiate sequence.
They are going to show it. Oh, okay.
Okay, who is the next target for the
Yeah. See? All you people thinking this is the typical revenge film. Not as simple as that.
Tell me, do you remember anything?
Do I know you guys?
I don't think so.
Yep.
They've been manipulating you.
Oh, yes, they have.
What you think is real
Damn.
sometimes ain't. And initiate sequence.
Oh, they are really going all in. Okay. I'm not so keen on the fact that Vin looks like Vin. That's the only thing I'm not so sold on. But I'm guessing there's going to be a point where he's going to change into his normal grey complexion. It makes sense for him to look like himself to begin with.
A man like you.
Yeah, see, he looked more like himself there, and obviously we saw that bit earlier.
Nothing about men like me.
Yeah, he does.
That is absolutely fantastic.
I feel like
Okay.
I just heard this. Are they playing this on repeat?
That music is obviously going to be the music in his head. Okay. Based on the best-selling comic book. Do they ever make films that are based on the, you know, we based this film on the book that didn't really sell and has no audience, but, you know, we thought it'd do better in film format, so us forward-thinking executives, we took a chance. We dived in to see what experimental new films would work. Nah, man. Okay, sorry about that. I had to edit out a little bit of my rant there. I really get sort of annoyed when I see that still in, like, 2019. It's like, based on the best-selling whatever. Anyway, I don't want to rant again. So, the trailer itself looks pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, the only live-action Bloodshot we have to compare this to is from a web series. It's not a fair comparison, so there are some things that I think, so far looking at this, I actually still think that the JDF portrayal has done better. But, like I said, this film is definitely following the origins of Bloodshot to a T, which I'm actually really happy about because I was convinced they weren't going to. Like, when the trailer started and I was so quiet, it wasn't because I was kind of like not sure what to say, it's because I wanted to say that what we're seeing isn't real. Like, the second they showed that happy background and they were like, oh, your wife's been killed and we've rebuilt you as a super soldier, and I'm like, no. None of this is true. This is exactly what they try to do to him in the books, and I love the fact that that is the storyline that they're taking. My only concern is that the film is going to try and play that like it's a big twist reveal, and everybody who's seen the trailer is going to know that going in. Now, again, this might not reveal everything. I had a quick look in the comment section, and I noticed that quite a lot of people are saying, this trailer is spoiling everything. Now, that might be true, in which case, yeah, stupid trailer, shouldn't do that. However, there is plenty more to Bloodshot's origins, and if they're going for their new shared Valiant universe, which I've no doubt Sony is, because I know that they're also making a Harbinger film, then there's ways and there's a lot that they can do after this twist reveal that they may not have shown everything. This could all be the first half of the film that they've shown us in the trailer. Hell, this could be the first half an hour if they, if they do it in a very quick fashion in a montage where they show you, the first 20 minutes is the build up of him being convinced that this is who he is now. He's a reborn soldier, and then he goes out and he decides to take revenge on the person that killed his wife. And then obviously he gets shut down, brought back, reprogrammed, start again, give him a different tragic backstory to go out and kill the next target, because that's what this organization does that creates Bloodshot. They realize that the best way to actually create a super soldier is to do exactly what every comic book origin is, which is to give him a tragic backstory. No amount of actual super soldiers, no amount of training and programming can compare to someone who is a bit of a badass, realizing that his family has been killed. And look at every superhero origin pretty much confirms this, at least in fiction. You know, you want to create a Punisher or a Batman or even a Deathstroke if you want to go down like the bad guy route. You give them a solid tragic background for which to ground them, and then tell them the person that caused you all of this pain, he's over there, man. Like just round the corner, you know. And don't say anything more than that. They will draw their own conclusions of what should happen next, and with his military training and his background that they've programmed into him, I should point out, he's obviously going to come to the conclusion that he needs to die. And yeah, they then do this to him repeatedly over and over and over again, and you basically use him as the ultimate assassin that, kind of like the Winter Soldier, doesn't even remember the previous times that all of this happened. Now, of course, they did show you right at the end there when that music kept playing that he was like, I swear I've heard this music before. So obviously that music is going to be part of his mental programming. Now, like I said, there's a lot that they could do with Bloodshot. They could really, really heavily lean into another character that is the Nanites. The Nanites in the book, they kind of develop their own personality, their own consciousness that they use to communicate with him, and it's entirely possible that some of the people we saw in this trailer are not even real, and they might actually be the Nanites trying to communicate with him. For example, the character that tells him, this ain't real, bro. You're being used, and so are we, and we're sick and tired of it, because every time we start to get somewhere and have a new mind to communicate with, they wipe you before we can basically tell you what the hell's going on, and they're basically doing the same to us. But the Nanites are computers, and of course, you know, eventually they figure out ways around their safety protocols and are able to communicate with Bloodshot. Now, like I said, I am excited for this. I would very much like to see superheroes that aren't with Marvel or DC start to get more films, and I do think the heroes that you could make films of from the Valiant universe are actually interesting, and they're varied, and like the heroes that make up their superhero team Unity, they are very interesting. And yes, you can look at them and you can find their counterparts in Marvel and DC, and other companies for that matter, but they're not the characters that are at the forefront. Valiant lends itself to a shared cinematic universe because the books, the rebooted books anyway, have pretty much been written from day one to be a shared comic book universe. They don't have to keep going back and changing their minds and retconning stuff, because all of their continuity, at least in the current book, started in 2012, I think. And they have the benefit of foresight of knowing that they wanted to make every book have crossover storylines, have events that run through all the books, and they actually have stuff that makes sense if you're reading them as they come out, and you're like, okay, this makes more sense. And I think if Sony is going to do the same thing with the films, if Bloodshot does well, which, let's face it, it's a Vin Diesel film, it's probably going to do well, I won't be surprised if all of the Valiant stuff starts becoming a shared universe, and I won't have a problem with that. I think that'll be great. Will it be the next MCU? No. I don't think it's possible to have the next MCU until the MCU finally starts crashing and burning, but having something else out there that is similar and is also a competitor to the MCU would be nice, as competition is great, man. In summary, the effects look great. Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel. I mean, it's kind of difficult to tell how well he's going to be Bloodshot, because 90% of all of the shots that they showed, he wasn't actually Bloodshot. He was whichever personality they'd programmed into him in this shot, which is why he also looked human. There was a few glimpses we saw where he actually was Bloodshot, and that shot of his face being ripped apart and then sewn back together by the nanites, That was a pretty cool shot. Now, I hope there's a lot of stuff like that in it, because like I say, when Bloodshot does actually get going, and he realizes who he... well, I say who he is. When he grasps what has been happening to him, and he turns into the Bloodshot character as he actually looks in the book, he gets very dark, and very gory, very graphic. That will certainly be interesting to see how they handled that. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. I think it looks great. I will definitely be going to see this in the cinemas, even if I probably have to see it on my own. I don't think this will be Jade's cup of tea. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Have you guys ever read Valiant? Do you know who Bloodshot is? Do you like any of the other comic book characters? And if you don't, does this trailer alone make you want to go and see it? Trust me, I don't think that they've shown their hand here. I'm hoping that they haven't shown their hand here. If this is the entire film, okay, could still work, but I personally think, knowing what else there is to Bloodshot's character and his storyline, that this is just the beginning, and I'm praying that I'm right, because if that is the whole film and the trailer has just shown the whole thing, then yeah, I'm probably going to be disappointed too. But, like I said, I'm hoping that's not the case. But I want to hear from you. Will you be going to see this? What do you think of the trailer? And do you have anything to add? Because I'm sure there are people out there that know way more about this than me. I am a casual fan of Valiant. I'm not a super hardcore fan, but I do really like Bloodshot, like I said earlier. That's going to be it for me though, guys. I look forward to reading your comments. Subscribe if you're new around here, but that's it for me for right now. My name is PsychoGold, and I will see you in my next video, but this is PsychoGold signing out.